Moving on after breaking up with the narcissist is far more complicated, time-taking, messier than moving on after a normal breakup. But why is that the case? Why is it so difficult? Let's try to understand in this episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In this episode, we will learn why breaking up with a narcissist hurts more than a normal breakup and how you can possibly recover from the same. If that sounds interesting, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel by pressing the subscribe button and push that bell icon to stay updated with everything latest that I post over here. Also, make sure to follow and subscribe if you are listening to this episode on a podcast channel. Let's get started. If a relationship is based on mutual love and respect, both partners at some point in time after attempting to work on their indifferences will part ways and will do so in a mutually respectful manner. In contrast, narcissistic relationships end leaving a bitter taste in the mouth, and usually happens after the narcissist has demeaned their partner, destroyed your self-esteem, and engaged in triangulation, smear campaigns, lying and cheating, and list goes on and on and on. The basic building blocks that are necessary for a relationship to be stable are missing. Building blocks like honesty, transparency, consistency, constancy, permanence, presence, attunement, affection, compassion, consideration, understanding. All of these in combination are missing. Therefore, there is no connection between you and the narcissist. The narcissist never saw you. The narcissist never saw you as a person, as a partner, but you were seen as an object, which is why the objectification happens. In other words, they used you and they kept using you until they saw that they can use you. The moment they got bored or there was this other person lined up, the other supply, and they got a better source of supply, not saying that this other person was better, but that not enoughness came to the surface and they now wanted to move to the next target, they started ignoring you. They started berating you. They started belittling you. They started putting you down and now focused on this other person, repeating the same cycle that they repeated with you. What happens in a narcissistic relationship is quite disastrous and damaging. The person who goes through this narcissistic abuse is destroyed inside out. Their emotional resources are stolen from them until there is nothing left. They are sucked dry of their vitality and life energy, and that is what happened to you, which is why it is so difficult for you to move on. Probably you have no energy. Physically or emotionally, you feel dead, and you can't seem to even get your life together because everything that you had created up until meeting the narcissist was destroyed, was taken away by them during the course of the relationship. What sets breaking up with a narcissist apart from breaking up with a healthy partner is the fact that breaking up with a narcissist is the same as coping with drug addiction because of trauma bonding. It's like quitting the habit and going cold turkey with the exact same challenges as a heroin addict coming off crack. Trauma bonding and cognitive dissonance keep you stuck. One part of you wants to move on, the other part still hopes for things to get better. You can't make sense of how this person who was so good, who was so angelic in the beginning of the relationship could be this monstrous, could be this evil, and how both these sides can coexist, live in the same person. Your experiences are compartmentalized, so are your emotions. The same person who made you feel so good in the beginning of the relationship was the same person who destroyed you emotionally and was extremely abusive to you. You are going through extreme form of trauma bonding, and at the same time you are experiencing what I call as betrayal shock. You are in the shock state right now, trying to process what happened to me. What was that? What hit me? How could it happen to me? How could I not see it coming, and so on? So this trauma bonding is a neuropsychological phenomena which also involves your biochemistry, and it makes it quite complicated to get over the narcissist. And the best thing to do is to, number one, go no contact, give yourself time, know how to regulate your own nervous system and not go back to the narcissist for the regulation part, and give it at least 8 to 9 months for the addiction to dissolve and for you to see the clarity and for you to see the narcissist as they are. Talking further about this betrayal shock, discard always occurs after a protracted period of devaluation. The easiest way to explain this shock further is that the narcissist erodes the victim's identity and sucks the life force out of them like a parasite. Therefore, at the end of it, you're not only grieving the loss of the illusion that you thought was reality, but also the loss of yourself. You are trying to understand the reality of the situation, how it was alive from the beginning to the end, how all of those good moments where you felt so connected with the narcissist was nothing but a facade, was nothing but a created situation, a fabricated situation by the narcissist to keep you stuck in the relationship. The other obstacle that you face while trying to move on after breaking up with the narcissist is the lack of closure. In a healthy relationship, both partners understand the need of closure and give it to each other, and they end it on good terms. But a narcissist abandons you abruptly, viciously, and without compassion and move on to the next supply while you still collect your pieces, while you still try to get your pieces together. They show no remorse for what they did and become worse if you leave or expose them. They become the worst version of themselves, shocking you to your core and making you question your decision-making capability. Many a times it gets worse towards the end of the narcissistic relationship, which of course is not the case in a healthy relationship. The narcissist tries to punish you for leaving them, for discarding them, for exposing them either directly by hoovering you, stalking you, doing all of those bizarre and abusive things, or indirectly through running smear campaigns or trying to destroy you through the legal system or the court system. It never ends. It keeps going on and on and on, exhausting you even more. They leave open loops for you to close and get answers to daunting questions like, why did he or she do this to me? How can someone be so inhuman? It's not easy to wrap your head around how they can be this evil and how did you stay with this person, which is why it gets worse before it gets better. Because during this process of recovery, you're not only expected to accept them for who they are, but also accept that it was all a lie, and at the same time make peace with what you have accepted. Because what you are supposed to accept brings in a lot of realization, and that realization brings up a lot of grief. In a nutshell, you have to make peace with so many things after breaking up with a narcissist that you do not have to deal with after a normal breakup. So give yourself a lot of time, compassion. Show yourself some understanding that you would have shown to someone else if they had experienced the same thing that you did. It's not easy. It's far more complicated than what you see it as. That was it for today's episode. I hope you found it insightful, and if you did, please drop a like, let me know in the comments, and make sure to subscribe. I'll talk with you in the next one. Till then, let the healing begin.